All right, good evening and Merry Christmas. I don't think we've got anybody in here just yeah, we do. We have some people in here. So I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas and maybe you guys got a lot of good photo gear for Christmas and you want to talk about it. That'd be great. And anybody that happened to be fortunate enough to pick up a Z9, we'd love to hear about that as well. I've got Jeffrey Neville in here tonight. Jeff, go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you and what you do? Oh, you're going to have to turn your feed off.
Yeah,
It's quite a bit of latency.
gotta try to turn off the. Trying to find it here.
Good to see you there, Robert. Thanks for the Merry Christmas. Yeah, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. For me, it was very nice, very quiet, very easy. And as always, Mama takes care of me. And my gift is the Z9. So whenever we get it, we get it. So, Merry Christmas, Woody. Good to see you. So I hope you guys had a good Christmas. We've got Jeffrey in here, but he's having a bit of technical difficulties, which I'm not immune to myself, as you guys know. Snow in Idaho. All right. Yeah, we had snow night before last. It was just a dusting, covered the deck, and um, I can't hear Jeff. That's odd. Hmm. Jeff, if you can hear me, all I have is a black screen. I'm sure he'll get back in here in a minute. So let's see. Lucky enough to get my Christmas your Z9. Hey man, congratulations, Robert. Congratulations. Headed out this morning, 2,000 pics already. You know, it probably doesn't take long with that camera either. Yeah, Jeff, you're back video wise. Mike, Green Christmas in Iowa. Yeah, we got a dusting the other day, and I mean, there's just nothing left. Like I said, it was just a dusting, so nothing to shoot here anyway. So I guess it's just as well. Although I'd rather have the camera and really have nothing to shoot, the first couple of days. Uh, Not looking like you'll see your Z9 for many months to come, according to B&H, as they change their story. Yeah, many times they change their story, but you know what? I'm not going to hold that against B&H. This is purely a Nikon communication issue. There's no way they didn't know what they had and what they were shipping. So I don't know. We're going to harp on that for a while now with Nikon. Love the products, but and Nikon USA, you guys need to get your act together. Uh, Absolutely, congrats. Steve got his. Yeah, I know he's going to be doing reviews, obviously, and it'll be interesting because Steve's very in depth, especially birds, wildlife, and things like that. So that's going to be great. Everything they told you it would be. Yeah, I didn't think that we were going to get caught up in hype and then find out it was something different this time. And I mean, obviously, the hype was enough because the orders are just through the roof. And I think every NPS member, everybody that's ever been an NPS member, and everybody that wants to be an NPS member has purchased this camera recently, out from under me. So I'm still on the wait list. The store did say, yeah, we lost Mike again. Now you can. Good to see you. The store did tell me that they were sorry. They had to fill NPS orders. He wouldn't explain to me how that works still. But he did say it looks like it'll be January. So I don't know what January. Evidently, there's another shipment coming in January. I mean, that doesn't make sense, but maybe it does. I don't know. So more cameras coming in January. That should mean a lot more non NPS members get their camera. So we can hope. We can hope. And there's a number floating around as if we haven't had enough dates, but there's a number floating around of January 17th. So take that for what it's worth. We'll see what happens. Charles, Yeah, I had a great Christmas, Charles. I hope you did as well. 2,000 shots and still at 70%, 76% battery life. Yeah, that battery in the camera is going to last forever, Robert. I mean, it reminds me of a typical flagship, you know? Happy holidays. The shipment in January will be very small number and lucky to take care of NPS. Maybe so, man. I don't know, but you couldn't get me any more aggravated over this. I mean, there's some loyal customers that aren't NPS, probably buy more, and then we can get into that discussion because I've already had people beat me up over. Well, you take a camera out of a pro's hand. Yeah, when they're really not a pro, you bet I would in a heartbeat. Because there are a bunch of them out there that obviously are not pros and they're already talking about their camera. Hey, I'm happy for them. But you know what? Nikon USA needs to figure this out. Agnetha, good to see you. Hope you had a very wonderful Christmas. Join the club, Nikon. Uh, let's see. Let the order ride until finance card runs out in April and let it die. Yeah, let's hope it isn't going to be that long for. Well, it depends on where everybody is on the list. If you're a non-NPS member, I'd like to think that it's not going to be too awfully long, but then again, I live on a lot of hope. So glad you're enjoying being here, Agnetha. Two D6s over 400,000 shutter clicks, and I shoot professionally. There you go, Robert. You're the man. You are who should get it. Okay, but I've already seen some people. One person talking about his camera. He said, "Yeah, I got it yesterday," and I can't remember how he worded it, but my pictures won't be worthy of the camera. And I'm thinking, really? And you need that camera? Sorry. But then again, maybe they're like me. They just want it and happen to be an NPS member. So yeah, I'm a little frustrated, but I'll get over it. Made an hour only good till April 20th. Then the card expires. So is that the way they're going to do that, Lee? I thought after the 17th, I guess you can't charge on it anymore or something like that. Mid-January. I got a email from B&H about that because I have one of the Paybu cards. I like the idea of the way that works. Getting rid of the tax, and they are going to another bank. At least the email that I got that's discussed, they're going to go to another bank or another financial institution and do it again with the same tax savings plan that they had before. Workers overworked, frustrated with overflow of packages. Yeah, well, we talked about this, Agnetha. 4 or 5 weeks ago, we started talking about that. They couldn't have picked a more inopportune time to ship for those that wouldn't be picking up the store. I hear you, Jeffrey. Don't touch it. Yeah, you're coming around. It's warming up. It's warming up. Can you hear us? That might be a no. Uh, yeah. Okay, Lee, you're absolutely right. And I don't know how to work with the new institution, so we'll just have to wait and see. I didn't use it obviously this time because I didn't go to B&H. However, I guess we've heard a few comments about B&H, but you never know who you're talking to, which representative you're talking to there. But evidently, they were going to try to make sure everybody got their camera before that card was canceled or something. I don't know. Clean up my screen a little bit, folks. Sorry about that. Jeffrey, we doing okay?
Well, a lot of back feed.
No,
I'm okay.
if you can hear us, we hear you fine now, or I do.
Yeah, I hear you. I just get a lot of echoing.
Okay, so do you have YouTube open?
Yes, I do.
Close you can see it all on your screen, everything you need to include the comments, right?
Correct. On the Restream.
Okay, so get rid of the page on YouTube, or just get off of the stream on YouTube. That's where you're getting all the feedback or the echo.
Okay.
I know this from experience because I embarrassed myself the first night.
How's that? I think that's better.
uh,
Finally.
yeah, there you go.
Boy.
Mike went over and checked out Fro's thoughts on the Z7. Z7? Or you mean the Z9? Let's see. How many Sony shooters are dogging the Z9 out on eye autofocus? Really? Yeah. I didn't even watch it. And I know a lot of people like watching him and everything else. So I'm not going to badmouth him, but I just don't care to watch him anymore. He's embarrassed to say now that, well, it is as good as the others or whatever. So if that's his honest opinion, then he differs from how many thousands of pre-orders? All right. Lee, I'm not sure the order will end up happening. You know what? Why don't I do this? This is the easier way. Da, da, da. CS rep said B&H is not even likely to get here by then. Too many in front of me. Oh, okay. Okay, brother. Yeah. Sorry about that, man. I'll tell you what. Although I know you want that tax break, and I don't blame you there. Um, Believe it or not, it won't be long, or I would get on some of the smaller stores list. Uh, a lot of them won't require you to pay for it. Not all, but a lot of them won't, and they won't require you to put a deposit down. They'll put you on the list, and when your name comes up, they will call you first. That's the way it works for me. Okay, on the private chat, that's just me and you, buddy.
Okay. So did you make any changes to what you were going to purchase?
No, I knew way back when exactly what I wanted, and the only things I wanted were the Z9 and the 100 to 400. As soon as I heard about that, knew that it was going to be in the announcement, and I wanted that lens. And I happened to call the store immediately and ask them, and where typically I because I'm looking at this stuff all day, every day, and I know about it before a lot of people do. Well, I know about it before a lot of NPS members. Obviously, some said they didn't even know about it until 2 weeks after. Well, then give me your camera. But anyway, I called them and I was number 2 on the list. I think they got 3 100 to 400s and sent me one. I don't have it in hands yet. It comes Tuesday.
Yeah, I went in and just added the 100 to 400. I had the 24 to 120. So when
Okay.
I decided I wanted to get the 100 to 400, and I'm spending way too much time doing research on the camera. On the Nikon USA website, at least they have 3 DigiTutor videos that you can watch that are
Yep.
very basic. But I
Yep.
did spend a lot of time and went through their whole Z9 reference guide, which says it's web edition, and it's kind of buried in the product support menu on their website. But it basically is like every detail of that camera, every menu function, hyperlinks everywhere. I went through the whole thing, made up my own. I got like a 17-page cheat sheet of how I'm going to set up the camera eventually when I get it. And it was a lot. It was a very long read. And then today I did buy Mac Ranger was selling what he called the Nikon Mirrorless Expert Setup Guide on his website. I bought that and I went through everything Z9 related on that. Made a few
Good for
tweaks.
you, man. Good for
Pardon?
you. I said, good for you. That's great because I'm going to fly by night. I'm picking up a flagship camera, which I'm very familiar with in my hands. Not this camera technically, and I'm going out and I'm going to shoot with it. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
get on the internet and ask everybody questions. Then I'll get in the manual or watch a digitutor or something. That's the way I am. I am not going to go down that path, and I'll
Yeah,
figure it out and have
unfortunately,
a ball doing it.
with an engineering
Huh?
background, you're used to diving into the details uh, from the get go. And like I said, I have everything defined. I mean, it's like the 80/20 rule. I probably got a solid 80% firm on what I'm going to set things up to. And some of it's similar to what I had on my D850. Um, but there were a few interesting things. I did write a letter to Nikon support because I'm trying to find out. One thing that I treated myself to for Christmas was I bought a battery bank that can charge multiple phones at one time, charge my
Yeah.
laptop, and I wanted to make sure that Nikon wouldn't have an issue with it being used to either charge the battery and camera or
Yeah.
power the camera. Make sure it doesn't void the warranty. But I haven't heard anything from them yet.
Okay. Well, you're prepared. I won't say I'm not prepared, but I've prepared for years. So I've got just about everything. I even have the new small rig cage for the Z9 already.
Wow.
So I just got to get the camera and then I'm going to play. Nikan, yeah, I'll do a review, but it'll be a Chuck review. It won't be one of the technical reviews with charts and everything. It's going to be real shooting. Seriously, I'll go out. I want to compare it to the old 80 to 400 that I have. I want to compare it to the 400 2.8. So yeah, I'm going to have a ball with it. And the Z9, it's going to get reviewed just in using it and having a ball with it. I know a lot of people are asking over in the forums for people that have the Z9 to do some. Would you take a shot at normal ISO, at medium ISO, and at high ISO, and then do it with a Z7 and let me see the? You know what? I'm buying the camera. I don't care now. It's done. What are you going to do? Change your mind?
No, it's
Well,
too
maybe
late
you
to change
will.
your mind now.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, I know that there's interest in all that, but when we get into technical reviews, I leave that to all those experts. I'm all about art and photography, and we're going to look at the photos, and we'll pixel peep to 200, 300% if people want to see it. But I don't look at pictures at 300%. I just don't do. I don't walk in the house and get out my loop and look at their snapshots and say, there's a lot of noise in that at
No,
300%.
people get carried away. I mean, you have some that they have to find something. It's like a movie critic. If you don't find something to complain about, you don't feel like you're doing your job. But most of the time, the subtleties, the few things that maybe someone will say, oh, that brand camera is slightly better at this or slightly better at that. It's so slight, you're not visibly going to see the difference when you actually make a print. And
Yeah.
people just got to get real and
Well,
enjoy
you know
using
what
the
it is.
tool.
You know
It's
what it
you.
is,
You're what
Jeff.
makes it happen.
It's photographers picking on photographers. That's all it
Yeah.
is. If you're a commercial shooter, and Robert, you may be able to answer this, especially if you're doing real commercial work where color is exact and I mean white balance is perfect and whatever. Yeah, I get that because somebody that's hiring you to do that wants their brand to look exactly like their colors or whatever. But you know what? If you're doing portraits, and I've seen portraits done so many ways, and somebody that completely, and they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but completely goes through a portrait of somebody and then tries to tell me that that's natural. No, I'm not against it, but then don't tell me that don't pixel peep and tell people that all these photos are wrong. And I don't want to get on that rant on Christmas, although I'm
Well,
apt to.
there's kind of no wrong. I mean, it's all an artistic impression. What I may like,
Yes.
somebody else may hate it, and then 50 people may like it. And bottom line is, I do it to please myself. If I'm lucky enough where someone enjoys
Yeah.
what I do, that's a bonus. But I have to be
Yep.
happy with what I do.
Hey, Robert, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to take away your comment there. And I agree with that. I'm just kind of sounding off a little bit. But I mean, truly though, I'll pick it up and I'm going to go shoot. And then I'm going to get frustrated and then I'm going to go look at the manual. But yeah, I can see where the new 3D tracking and all of the other autofocus characteristics are different, and I'm going to have to learn it. No doubt about that.
There's so many variation in the tracking modes. I mean, this is a camera that, to me, if someone's never had a D4, D5, D6, D50, something with a pretty complicated menu system, you're going to go absolutely nuts trying to figure it out. You're going to be, it's going to swallow you up. I mean, if you've been shooting for a while and have had high end stuff, then even then it's going to be, it can be as complicated or as simple as you want. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and because I'm not commercial shooter like Robert, and I'm sure that he's always, and rightly so, he wants to know before, and he's trying to make sure that it's set up the way he needs it set up, and then understanding all the tracking modes and everything. Yeah, absolutely, he can't afford to miss an opportunity. I'm not going to say a shot, but an opportunity. And that's absolutely true. And Robert, I agree with you with flagship colors. For whatever reason, I've said it, I think a few times in here in the streams, the flagships to me, maybe I'm partial to them, but they always have better color science for some reason. And I guess a lot of people might say, no, there's really no difference, but there is something about it. And maybe it's just, I'm making it up, to myself, but there's something about flagship colors that are just beautiful. I don't know why. And well, it's a flagship. Maybe it should be a little better or a little different. Uh,
Like you,
uh,
I can't wait to get it and read about it and prep for it's one thing, but like you said, slap the lens on it, get out there, shoot a couple thousand pictures, have a great time, massage it, figure out what you want to tweak, what you don't want to tweak. But it's just going to be a fun thing to learn.
yeah. Any idea when you're going to get your Z9, Jeff?
Well, not being non-NPS,
Okay.
last thing I heard was probably 1 to 2 months.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we're going to see because remember they did say they being Nikon, maybe Nikon. I'm so confused now because everybody said something, businesses, Nikon Japan, Nikon USA, Nikon Europe, Nikon. So I don't know who said it, whether it was Nikon Corporation put the message out, but that all NPS orders would be complete by mid-January. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm wondering how many cameras actually went out. I know obviously my store didn't get many. I didn't expect them to have so many NPS orders. All of a sudden they do. Come on. Come
Well,
on.
what was interesting was the grades of Winchester or
Yeah.
Westminster in England. They were talking about they'd be lucky if they got a couple token Z9s in their shop to sell
Have you
right
been
now.
watching though? You go over to the Nikon Z9 page on Facebook, new page, hadn't been up long, obviously, and look at all the people in there that have cameras, and not all of them are NPS members. So you tell me, how's that? How's that possible? If it's only NPS members, how is that possible? So I think that maybe a lot of them are in Europe, and hey, good on you. I even saw a couple over in Southwest Asia that are non NPS members that got their cameras. So it's not Nikon Corporation for us, it's Nikon USA. Hey, way to
Yeah.
take care of people, Mike. Drum up some more business in there. Maybe you get some paid members too now. Sorry, again, frustrated about it all. Just doesn't seem right. And everybody takes it the wrong way that I mean no NPS member. No, I do not mean that. But I know that there are NPS members out there that are somehow, some way, they found a way to get through the application and become an NPS member. Or they were NPS 20 years ago and they just continue to renew. Maybe there's no requirement to update your credentials, status, whatever. Anyway, all right.
Well,
Y'all got
I
to
don't
tell me
think
to
they
quit that.
follow
It's
up.
Christmas Day.
I don't think they follow up. I mean, there's some people that qualified for MPS years ago, had a business, earned money with their camera, who maybe don't do that anymore, and they're still MPS members. They don't get rechecked. Once you're in it, you're given the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. Lee, I saw something about that. The in what mode and doing what? It does it in a certain mode or something, not in any of the typical shooting modes or anything else. But the EVF did blink. I can't remember what it was, but I did see something about that, Lee. Maybe Rob can tell us if he's experienced that or found that mode or whatever it is in camera that allows the. It's a very uh, it's a very subtle blink. It's not anything that blacks out the EVF completely. I think. Canon color science. Let's see. Looks washed out compared to Nikon. Sony colors are. Yeah, I know that Sony's worked hard because they've caught a lot of flack about it from everybody but their loyal diehard Reichsmark fans. Um, you know what though, I do actually like Canon's colors too. There's something about their colors I like. I like Nikon's better, but I like Canon's. I don't have a problem with them. Sony, yes, but I guess the new A7 4, A7S4. I don't know. I can't keep up with all the A67s and threes and Mark fours and triple Ds and whatever they've got. I mean, you need a roadmap just to talk to buy and sell Sony cameras. You need a history book just to keep up with them.
If there's such a thing as having too many models, I think they're almost in that boat right now.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. Set up your EVF to briefly gray out between pictures. Yeah, I know. To gray out, or is that the little bars on the side and top and whatever, or is that an actual option as well, Robert? And let me plug it up here so everybody knows what we're talking about. Nope, that ain't it, is it? There you
Well, in
go.
the setup menu, you can make it so that when you're taking a photo, if you don't have to have sound, you can have it with the bars vertically on each side, looking through the viewfinder, flashing, all four flashing. You can make it so it blackouts, which kind of defeats the purpose, having a not blackout EVF. But there's a bunch of different ways where you can get an indication that you're taking a picture, so you're not shooting off 5,000.
Right. I mean, there are two ways to do that. The two ways are the sound, and the other is with the flashing bars around the
Yeah,
viewfinder.
yeah.
So you had to turn yours off. That's interesting. I'm sure I'll do the same thing, at least to get used to it. That it's hard to get used to that. I'm good at taking pictures when I'm walking around with cameras hanging off of me at the ground. So you can imagine how many of those beautiful asphalt photos I'll have with a Z9. So hey, Lee, I had to address this. Not believable. They didn't get popular by not appealing to many. Nikon is simply more accurate. Are you talking about? So I missed the previous comment or something, Lee. Is that Sony or Canon? And I would agree with you on Canon. I don't on Sony, but it really has nothing to do with the color. And I'll explain myself if it's Sony that you were talking about. Uh, Guy complaining about the EVF had an improper setting or wasn't doing it right. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but there was something that would cause that. Nothing. I mean, it's people will go. It's like JP. He'll dig and find something that nobody would use but once in a lifetime and say it's wrong. It don't work right, and it's okay because I don't ever use it. Yeah, I'm exaggerating a bit, of course. Uh, let's see. I turned. Yep. Trying to keep up with you folks. Almost said guys, Agnetha. That wouldn't have been right, would it? Nikon
Well, there's
brand
a lot
deals.
of places in the menu system where you have check boxes. where you can check off how many features that you see when you open up a certain feature set.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that you're never going to use. You can just turn it off so that the menu isn't quite busy when you go through it. So there's just so many different ways to configure it. And of course, you can really get crazy. You can create your own shooting menus for, maybe you do a shooting menu for weddings, you do another one for landscape, another
Yeah.
one for macro. You can go on and on and on. Uh, I mean, I guess once you get it tweaked over time, it's going to be great. You just, hit a few buttons and you're there. But usually, you know what you're shooting. When you wake up in the morning, you make a plan. I'm going to shoot flowers today, or I'm going to shoot insects, or I'm going to shoot a sporting event, or what have you. So I don't know how often you need to be flipping back and forth between the shooting banks anyway.
Hey, Jeff, you're understandable, but it's almost like there's a bandwidth issue there. It's I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I have an awful echoing like that. When you talk, it echoes for a long time. I mean, I hear myself echoing as well. And
It shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't do that. You got headphones? That'll solve it.
what's that?
You have headphones? That'll solve that.
No, I think not.
Come on, Jeff. After you've read the manuals and everything else, you don't have a set of headphones there.
Well, I tell you, I've only been on these live streams twice. Once with you now, and once with Vahagan when he was trying it out. I think with Zoom a couple weeks ago, and
Okay.
had a little bit of fun. Put it that way.
All right, Lee, I'll let you off the hook, man. Just kidding. Canon, yeah, I agree. Canon's done extremely well, and yeah, they deserve recognition as well. I just like Nikon better, but when it comes to Sony, no. Sony's become so popular because every young person started out making Sony what it is. And yeah, then other folks jumped into for whatever reason. For the IAF, let's face it, that's all it was. All right, Robert. Yeah, well, I'll get it eventually, Robert. But this gives me time to complain about it, and that's almost as fun. Well, maybe not, but hey, thanks for dropping by and letting us hear your thoughts. That was interesting. And hear your thoughts, brother. Make sure you throw us some non technical reviews on the camera as you continue to shoot it. Anything that really jumps out at you that we can all be happy about and want to hear about. So, by all means, do that. And have a great night. Thanks for dropping by, though, Robert. Uh, Lee, true enough, buddy. We'll get it. We'll get it. But I'm going to keep complaining about it, but we'll get it. Oh, man.
I got
So,
to
yeah.
tell you,
Okay. So,
Sal.
what did everybody get for Christmas? Any camera gear? Anybody get any camera gear for Christmas? I mean, I could say I got something, but it's still on an assembly line in Thailand.
Nothing in hand. I can't even get the 1.4x tele for the F mount. No one has.
I bought the 2.0 quite a while back, knowing this is how much I confidence I had, knowing I would get one of the either a Zoom 400, whatever it would be. And at the time, I think the 1 to 400 was on the roadmap, but it was all blacked out. So I knew I was going to get something, and I wanted that TC only because I just had a feeling that it was going to be far and away better than the old F mount TCs. So yeah, I've got it. That's yet another thing sitting over here on the shelf that I can't use because I did not buy the 70 to 200. I still have the 70 to 200E, and I'm going to milk a little more out of that before I go completely in on S lenses. But I
Well, I
did
figured
want the
I'd get
long.
the figured I'd get the 1.4F tele for the 500 PF to put on Z. So I'd have a 700 F8, at least until 800 PF comes out, see what the price point is on that. But 700 wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Merry Christmas, Terry. Good to see you in here, brother. I hope you had a wonderful day. I hope everybody had a wonderful day. Uh, man. Yeah. So, okay. So let me say that I got the 1 to 400 for Christmas. It's just a couple of days later than Christmas. And that has to do more with all the shipping that's going on right now because they warned me about that. Because I decided I wasn't going to go overnight or 2 day air on it, only because what am I going to do with it? I guess I could put it on the Z6 II, which I will do once it does get here, but I wasn't in that big a hurry for the lens. Saved me what, $60 or something. So I probably could have had it here tonight. But anyway, so that's my big Christmas. I just don't have it yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
a lot of things on the list. No clue when I'm going to get it.
yeah, yeah. So I've got, as far as S lenses go, say they all S, yeah, the 51.8S, which I really like that lens. I picked it up just because I'm not a 50 fan, but I thought, 1.8, and I heard some good things about it. I thought I'll pick that up, and I really enjoy it. It's a nice lens. I'm really jonesing for the 51.2. But like everything else, I just can't go out and buy it all at once. And I'm going to run out of room for lenses. If I keep buying mirrorless without getting rid of some of the f mount glass. And I want the 85 1.2 whenever it shows up. So I'll forego the 1.2 on the 50 and get the 85 1.2. I have the 14 to 30, which I'm on right now. And I think it's just a spectacular lens for wide zoom. It's sharp as it can be. I enjoy using it. It's great for this as well. And I have the 24 to 70 f4. So I haven't bought the Trinity in any way, shape, or form in S mount yet, or S glass. I have it in the F mount glass, but I don't have it yet for mirrorless. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
I think that's my hardest thing. It's going to be to decide uh, what F glass to keep. I mean, I've got the 24 to 70, 2.8, 70 to 200, 2.8 FLED, the 200 to 500 PF, the 105 2.8, 85 1.4, and it's like I guess I'm going to try it out with the FTZ first, see how well it performs, and then maybe I'll switch a few of those. But I don't think I'll get rid of all of them because I'm going to hang on to my D850 as a spare camera, so I don't want to get rid of all the F class.
Yeah. So I still have my D850. I still have my D500. The D5 is long gone now, and I'll hang on. The D850 is a great camera. It's hard to let go of that. Isn't that right, T Mid? Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, brother. He still shoots his D850 too. Yeah, and I guess that was part of my decision on the Trinity for S mount or S glass, Z mount glass. I have the Trinity now, and I know it adapts well. And everybody's talking about the Z9. It seems to work extremely well, all the F mount glass. So I am going to, I can live with that for a little while until I get ready to transition completely over. I do, though, need to get rid of some some F mount glass, and that'll start here sometime this spring. I just don't need all of it. Merry Christmas. Everybody say Merry Christmas. My beautiful bride down there, Miss Maribel Cadiz. It's me, Mighty. What else we got in here? Am I the only
I
one
know.
that has anything gear
Sorry.
related Christmas wise? I know it's not the uh, smallest thing in the pile to select for Christmas gifts, but uh,
Do you think, Chuck, you're going to get? I mean, you do a lot of. Obviously, you're doing video to do the show, but do you do a lot of video footage outside of the studio? Uh, you're gonna go full bore into like
I
motorized handheld gimbals and things like that.
Yeah, I have the, oh shoot, Ronin S. No, not S. Or is it? I don't know. The original Ronin. Um, and I have a slider. I have a Rhino slider. Oh yeah, I'm just a crazy that way. But I have used this stuff not for myself. I've done some video work helping my stepson who does a lot of stuff, video stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. We've done a quite a bit, but I definitely want to do more. Um, and I just need to now settle down and start doing it. I need to get back into Final Cut Pro because I've forgotten everything about it. It's been so long since I've touched it. And I do want to make some videos, but nothing like all these other people. I want to try to just capture some cinematic footage and things like that, just to see what the cameras can do. And it's not just Nikon; it's all brands. But like to, I'd like for some of the next generation to see some creative stuff out there that Nikon shooters are doing, because they don't believe it, I guess, and Nikon's for all of us. Look around here. All of us old folks, all of us retirees. That's the way they see Nikon.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Bayou Josh does some very nice videos. I mean, if people want to
Oh,
see some nice
beautiful.
stuff with Nikon.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. But you're not getting a 20 something to watch bird photography. Yeah, there are a
Yeah.
few, but you know what I mean? And I'm not taking anything. I love his videos, and he does a remarkable job. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, I really want to see. I don't know why I'm on this kick, but I guess because I'm around young people quite often, and all they want to talk about is Sony. Sony's the only camera on the market, and they tell their buddies, "Don't get anything else." And every now and then they'll accept a Canon, shooter, but Nikon isn't even mentioned because they've been told. And people will say, no, people aren't. Yes, they are. That's stupid. They really are. And that's the
Well,
way
I
it
wonder
is.
how much of Sony's influence isn't is just so much from the brand in terms of a technology company with kids with the PS5s and other electronics that Sony makes, and they just kind of associate Sony as this great tech company for everything, and they just migrate to the cameras because they have a PS5 and they go, "Well, it's great for that. They must probably
No,
have a great camera too." I don't know.
no, no. I think that there's name recognition, but it was eye autofocus in Sony first. And
Yeah,
every youngster that wants to be the next Quentin Tarantino on YouTube or wherever, he was told and he saw it and he bought it. He was told they're the only camera with autofocus that works doing video work. None of them even knew you actually pull focus for, they think every movie and everything's been shot on autofocus cameras. But true, now you can do quite a bit of it for what you want to do with autofocus. But that's what they, six started, what, 7, 8 years ago, and it's been hard to get people to walk away from Sony. They're embedded in it. Some are just embedded in it, but some of them are just absolute true fanboys. And if Sony never developed another camera that went beyond where they are right now, there are half of those people that will never leave Sony because they're not going to
yeah.
go back because they have picketed so hard on the triumphs of Sony, and they're never going to go back and say, well, yeah, it's a good camera, but there are others that are maybe better now. It isn't going to happen. And that's the volatile nature of the Sony fan base. Not every one of them, don't get me wrong, but as a whole, man. And if you don't believe me, go to any forum about with any other brand, and the Sony trolls will show up in hordes to tell you why Sony's better on that brand's forum or site.
Yeah, they're more than bad. That's for
Now,
sure.
true, the
So that
cameras are good. Don't get me
uh,
wrong. Again, I
I
don't
mean,
care for the
I've
color
shot
settings,
all
but the
different cameras.
A7S4 is supposed to be better.
I respect the other camera brands, and I really hate the fact that everybody just feels like they need to take pot shots at everybody, and it's in their best interest to have good competition from a strong base of companies. I mean, heaven forbid, if you only had one or two, there's going to be no competition to speak of. Prices are going to go way up. They're going to have no incentive to make things better. They're going to control the market. You need to have a strong competitive base, and I throw Fuji into the mix with that too, because they have their niche with street photographers, love the Fuji camera system. They love the colors. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like you've said a million times, the camera is just a tool. I could take as good a picture with an older camera.
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
it's what you do with it. I mean, the tool just makes it easier to do certain things and helps you out. But it's all in your vision when you take the picture.
yeah, and every brand does have something that's unique about it, and it may not fit everyone else, but maybe it fits you, and that I understand. And I mean, could I shoot Canon? I could, but I like the ergonomics, and there's enough subtlety there for me to like Nikon better. I don't think either camera is bad. So yeah, that's one of the things about all the different brands. That's one of the things that turned me off to Sony so early on, and it took them forever to figure out that they could tape a pencil to the right side of the camera, and you'd have some kind of a grip on it instead of as Nikon says, a PlayStation controller in your hand. And yeah, I'm
Yeah.
picking on them a little bit, but the camera
Well,
itself, they're fantastic in a lot of things that they do. But the ergonomics was enough for me to say, I don't care how good it is. They're just, I don't like the feel, which is what I tell all the young folks that say, well, what kind of camera should I get? And I'll tell them the only way to know that is honestly go to a store if you can and hold. It doesn't have to be the flagship models of those brands, but hold each camera and you'll find the one that fits you best. Forget
well,
about
I,
all
I
the,
tried. I tried to like Sony, couldn't do it. Ergonomically awful. I got the whole gentleman's A1 about a month ago. I said, well, that's pretty close, but the unfortunately I hate to say Sony fanboys, but it's real. Uh, they like to knock the size the Z9, and let's face it, there's advantages. You have the extra heat sinking, it gives you the longer video recording time because you have a larger body. Um, there's pros and cons to everything. I mean, you go and you throw a battery grip on an A1, you're $1,300 more than a Z9. What do you get for that $1,300?
yeah,
Not really anything other than to say, oh, it's small in my hands. I like a small camera. I like to
yeah.
have buttons. I like to be able to have a comfortable grip. I like to have a balanced camera with a long lens on it. I'll take the bigger body any day of the week, and the ergonomics on Nikon is
and
just
and
you can't.
and that's what we're talking about is what you and I like, and that's the reason we choose the brand we like. But these young
Yeah,
folks aren't choosing a brand for anything other than recommendation, and they don't, and it's peer pressure. Honestly, it is. They're going around their friends, and their friends are shooting Sony, and that's exactly what they're going to get because they need to be part of the crowd, and they've convinced themselves without even investigating that Sony is the better brand to go with. Okay, you're missing out though. And if you get heavily invested in it, and I told my stepson this, you get heavily invested in it, and somebody's going to come out with a camera that's just going to be so much better. It doesn't matter who, but somebody will. And then you're going to say, man, I wish they'd have done that sooner. Well, that you can say that about all the brands. They will eventually get to it. But Agatha saying that Snap Chick, Snap Chick, she said Sony A7 best camera she ever used until she got rid of it recently for not using it. But I remember the A7. Guess what? There was nothing in Canon's lineup or in Nikon's lineup that could touch it. What was the thing that made it significant, and why it's the Sonys have been appealing to the younger generation? Any idea? Video. I did a video. I have one, an old one, and the title is "It's About the Video." Stupid. Nikon didn't get it. They couldn't figure it out. They would, or they were too stubborn to figure it out. But video was impressive on that camera. Not in, it was 4K 120 or anything like that. It's the fact that you could actually video in the middle of the night with that camera. Yeah, there was grain and whatnot, but it was Nikon. You couldn't come close to it. Neither could Canon in their DSLRs. So it was remarkable. It was incredible. Yeah, it's all been surpassed now, but that's many years ago. But at the time, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a videographer. I wish I could remember his name. He did a review on it and he said, I'm getting one because he's a big videographer. So, yeah, Sony definitely had made some way early on, but it was in video. Stills were stills, okay? And color science at that time wasn't great as far as Sony goes, but it could be fixed in post, and there'll be people that argue and say it can't or whatever. But the video in that camera was remarkable, and a whole lot of people started gravitating to it because they're into video more so than stills. We had on the other side, like you, Jeff, you probably care less about video.
I've never
Yeah.
shot video with my D850.
But,
I mean,
but you know what brought the D850 about? Better video. And video is what's bringing the whole line up now. Video is what's selling cameras. Hybrid cameras are the hottest thing on the market.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm gonna force myself, and I'll probably enjoy it getting into video with the Z9, but primarily stills photographer. Probably will always be 80% stills, but I'd be foolish. You're part of that price for that Z9 or those high tier cameras is for the video features. So I'm definitely going to use it and learn it. And
Well, I think that's a common complaint by still shooters. That's a common complaint by strictly still shooters is I don't want it. I don't need it. Guess what? You do. You're not getting a camera without it. Nikon's tried that, remember? Even though the DF was a great camera because it used the D4 sensor, how many sold? Not many. Because everybody doesn't want just stills. If you wanted that, you could always go back to Terry shoots a lot of film. You go back to the film days. So the point is R&D money comes from unit sales. Unit sales now come from video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're buying it for the stills. I'm buying it for the stills, but I am also buying it for the video as well. So you're going to have to pay the premium, not you, but people, to get the stills capability they want. You're not getting the 120 frames per second, 11 megapixel JPEGs out of that camera without what it's doing for the video side. It all works together.
Absolutely.
It's all the same brain. So, yeah.
Well,
but
like you
people
said,
don't want to hear that.
Younger generation's not going to buy it unless it has all the bells and whistles. I mean, they're using their iPhones and everything. They're always shooting video. They're always doing, fancy AI type of things with their phones, which will probably migrate to cameras eventually. So if you want to survive, you don't have a choice. You have to offer that to the masses. And obviously, people have a choice. If you don't want to use video, well, just don't use it. But I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna want to do some presentations where maybe I start off with a 2-minute video, put in a slideshow of some stills, finish it up with another video at the end, and I want to do kind of that type of thing. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm gonna grow with it and take advantage of every feature on that camera.
Yeah. Charles, yeah, they don't always stop and compare, think, make up their own minds. They don't. And I'll follow that with peer pressure at its finest. And that is absolutely true. I have an example of it in my steps. He's a smart guy. Look, I'm going to say kid. His mom gets mad at me. But if you're 50 or younger, you're a kid to me. Okay. And I'd like to be a kid. Okay. I want to be a kid. So maybe that's why I say it so often. But he's smart. He's a smart kid, but I can tell that the pressure is there. He's got a Nikon right now, but the pressure is there to push over to Sony. He's not heavily invested yet, so it's not a big deal. And it's because I look around him and everybody's pushing Sony. All of his friends or whatever. A couple are using Canon. So that's acceptable, but I go back to Nikon is not acceptable to the younger generation. Look at my demographics on the age demographics on this channel. I hope you guys know you are the bulk because I don't have any 17 to 24 year olds or whatever it is. I think there may be a 0.6 percentage or percentile, but it's a Nikon centric channel. I mean, we'll talk about all the cameras, but it's Nikon centric. Obviously, we all kind of flock together, and very few young people. I want to change that. Why? Because that is Nikon. That is their. They're not going to go out of business, but innovation could slow down. All those kind of things could happen if we're not taking care of the company that we love. And I'll admit it's hard to do when they won't talk to you, like right now. So but yeah, I just want people to understand that there's a reason for a lot of things. I learned this in the Army. As a private, everybody was stupid up in the ranks. They're just idiots. Nothing made sense and it's stupid. And as I moved up, continued to move up over 23 years, I realized that all those people at the top really weren't stupid. There is a reason for the things that were being done. But down there as a private, nothing. Why do we have to mop the floor? We're going to walk back in here on it in an hour. Just that's the way kids think. So, as
Well,
my kids used to tell me, why
Nikon
make the
has a
bed? I'm going
marketing
to get in
problem.
it again.
I mean, Nikon has a marketing problem, and I mean, I think they did a really good job with the kind of teasing Z9 and introducing it, got the excitement built up. Obviously, they've got a lot of pre-orders to fill, uh, but they have to attack a certain market segment. Remember in the old days, in the film days, you couldn't watch a sporting event on a Sunday without seeing a Canon Rebel commercial on TV,
Yeah.
or even a Minolta commercial. Only from the eyes of Minolta. When is the last time a camera company has advertised on television other than Ashton Kutcher doing some inexpensive advertising for some cheaper cameras? But you gotta do something to flip the switch and change the perception. And what hurts now too is there's no photo stores anywhere. You go into Best Buy now. That's the only place local, at least down here where I am. Half the shelves are empty. Like you said, the right camera is the one that fits right in your hand, and I don't care who makes it. If it doesn't fit good in your hand, you're never going to use it. You're going to complain, "Oh, my fingers pinched between the
Yeah.
lens and the grip, and this, that, and the other." People are buying stuff, online all the time, never having put it in their hand before they bought it, and it's sad. I mean, it's
Well,
just no camera dealers anymore.
that's what I was saying, Jeff. And if somebody asks
Yeah.
me, I'll tell them to do that if at all possible, or go find people that have the different version or different brands and hold it, because there are two things that really make a difference. One, the ergonomics, the way it feels, just like you said, not just the button layout and everything else, but just feels in the hand. And the other is aesthetics. There is an aesthetic uh, uh, component to every camera. That's why they had, who was the Italian designer that actually designed some of the bodies, the Nikon bodies. So yeah, do that. And then if you still feel you must go to another brand, then by all means do it. But you've at least given it a chance that you might regret later. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nikon was the first to have video in a DSLR, the D90. It was 720p, but it was video. Nikon could have jumped all over that and ran with it, but it just died. It just died. Now, Woody says, and I saw your comment, Woody, and I understand. Woody said, Woody Mallory, he said, here we go. No, I passed it. But Woody said he doesn't use video and he doesn't care about it one bit. He's a still shooter. Got it. Got it. But I would still say, uh, without the video, Nikon would have continued to fall farther and farther behind. Not going out of business, but again, money is what drives R&D. Money drives innovation, and money from the Z9 is not the only money that goes to R&D for another Z9 II. It's all the money goes to R&D, and they decide where they're going with R&D next. But that's where all that money comes from. And obviously, Nikon's done a pretty good job being able to hang on to enough money, excuse me, for development of the Z9, because I don't think anybody's going to complain about that camera that is a Nikon shooter. It's going to satisfy you whether you're video strong or whether you're still strong. You know, nobody can complain, and you're giving everybody what they want. So uh, the Z9 was just a wonderful surprise as leaks started coming out, and it's a fantastic camera, even though I don't have one in my hands yet, but eventually.
Well, you know, in reality, when you look at the history of Sony, I mean, they didn't just flip a switch. I mean, they had some bombs, they had problems, they had things to work out. How many generations of cameras have they had before they got to an A9, A7R4, you know, the A1? I mean, for what Nikon's been able to do in a relatively short period of time, not being anywhere near the financial juggernaut of a Canon or a Sony. I mean, they don't sell printers like Canon does, and they don't have all those side businesses to bring in income that they can funnel into the camera group if they want to. They're not selling TVs and PlayStations. So what they pulled off is really a tribute to their engineering staff. And I, for one, you know, being a former engineer, I mean, I tip my hat off to them. I think they did a phenomenal job,
Yep.
and they deserve a lot of credit.
No, I would agree. And I've said that. I'll continue to say it. I don't have a problem with Sony Corporation, Sony cameras. I have a problem with their fanboys. But
Yep.
but you know what? Their marketing was phenomenal. Maybe it's because they have, well, I don't know how their divisions work. The optical division for cameras within Sony is a small piece, I know. But does marketing money only come out of that division, or is it the Sony Corporation name that provides marketing for their camera division? Because they've done a phenomenal job marketing, and what they didn't do themselves, they've gotten from word of mouth. So, and we can all joke around about, you know, Sony pays so and so, and you know, Nikon pays so and so, and Canon pays so and so. Yeah, not so much that way, but there may be obviously favors or things like that. But I don't. None of them are on a payroll, and if anybody can prove that, by all means, drop us some information. I'd love to see it in proof. But so the point is, though, that a lot of people did jump over there for favors and all the artisans and everybody else they have, but their marketing has been phenomenal. And again, Nikon. If there's anything I have against Nikon, well, now I have two things. But one is marketing, and two is communication that isn't necessarily marketing. So, but I love their products, and I'm sticking with Nikon. I stuck through the last couple of years while everybody else was screaming to the goal line with new innovative cameras. And finally, Nikon came through. So I think it's going to be different in the near future with Nikon as well. So does it all? Absolutely, Lee. I think it does. There may be people that are in a certain particular profession that will say, no, it doesn't. It's not as good. And maybe that's true, but I don't think so. And then there are going to be people that'll say, well, then why do I need a Z9 if all I need is landscape? The Z7 is fine. And I can't argue with that. But if you want to do it all or think you might do it all, then the Z9 is the camera to have. You can put all the others away. You get two Z9s and you got a backup. I know it's expensive, but it's not near as expensive as everybody thought it was going to be. And because of this expense, thank you, Nikon, or lack thereof, this price point, I think that's why we have so many people that are jumping on the Z9 when everybody in Nikon rumors was saying, hey, it won't sell many. You won't have any trouble getting one. They'll be on the shelf in 3 months and discounted. What kind of crack are they on? I wish, but that ain't happening. The camera's that good. So, yeah, Nikon, you should pay me. Where's Nikon at? I'm on here trying to help you out. Uh,
Well, way I looked at it was, you know, I'm not gonna, I might cry a little bit if I got to wait more than 2 months, but I got a perfectly great D850 that's going to continue to take great pictures, and
yeah.
so I can't cry too much. And when the Z9 comes, the Z9 comes. But it's just a phenomenal thing, and I was patient. I wasn't going to jump ship, and it had Nikon for 2 decades now, and was just going to hang tight and wait, and it was worth the wait. And Z9 might be the one of the last bodies I ever buy.
No,
I'll
I'm not.
test them,
I don't say
but
that. Why would you say
I
that?
love
Don't
it.
ever say that. The last one you buy should be hand somebody and take a picture of your grave. All right.
The Z12, right?
Yes, yes, yes. All right, I got to acknowledge my baby here, Miss Courtney. She is my baby. That's my youngest daughter. I love you more. Now I'm shutting that off. I love you more, and you can't respond. Oh, I love my babies. Let's see. Nikon's marketing getting the desire for the Z9 has been unprecedented. Yeah, it has. However, their ability to deliver has been sad. Absolutely. Some of that not to their fault. Again, if you just communicate that, other than the one obscure email that has one line in it that says because of part shortages, we may not be. All right. We need a little more than that, and we need it more often. So, yeah, it definitely outsold what they predicted, but you had to know that. They had to know that. And if they didn't, again, fire them all, Nikon. Get some young blood in there. You need some people marketing that are in this century, okay? All right. David Stewart. See, I use my DA10 for night photography. Yeah, I know a lot of people did that, David. Are you going to have the conversion, the whole 9 yards, or the sensor filter or whatever for night? Well, that would be for astrophotography or whatever they call it, nightscape photography. Adds up to 20% of their DSLR. Yeah, Nightcam, you'd brought that up way back when we were talking about it, which may have helped with the cost a bit. Let me get through some of these, Jeff. Get everybody in here. So we want it to be a community, and everybody gets to chime in. Yeah, that's a good topic. What will the R1 cost when it comes out? What will the next Sony whatever A1 Plus or whatever or it's going to be an A1S Mark 9 or something? Who knows? How much will it cost? That's going to be tough. And I'll tell you what, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place now, because they could get away with the love for Sony maybe one more time, but you let Nikon be consistent in their price and let Sony continue down the path that they've been on with their flagship and other flagships, and it won't be long before, especially when people look and go, you know what, they are essentially one as good as the other. Why am I going to pay $1,500 or $1,500 to $2,000 more? So they're between a rock and a hard place. If Nikon comes out with the next version of the flagship, whatever it's going to be, and it's at that same price point, or maybe inflation's gotten so bad that everybody had to raise, but it's still $1,000 below Sony and maybe Canon's true flagship, because I guess the R3 isn't the true flagship. It's going to hurt them. Not terribly. They're not going to go out of business. But the point is, there are people who are going to say, look, I can get the same camera, maybe even a little better in this version for that much more money less. So interesting to see what happens. Real interesting. So I I'm not going to hold my breath thinking that Canon's going to say, you know what, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot and we're going to price the new R1 at $7,000 or $7,500 because it's that good. I don't think anybody's camera is that good to cost
No,
a whole lot more. So interesting to
I'm
see.
sure, Chuck. I'm sure you saw Garrett's video on the Z9, which was halfway decent, I suppose. But what's interesting, what I think is really a big deal, is I don't think even he could argue that the Nikon autofocus system hasn't basically caught up. And the few quirks he had with it, well, that's what firmware updates are for. I mean, Richie talks about uh, the firmware upgrade for the AK60T, and there's a lot of other stuff that's going to come out in that firmware upgrade that he can't reveal.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you go 2, 3 firmware upgrades in, there's going to be any little glitch that anybody ever complained about or complains about with that AF system will be taken care of really, really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting time. I guess we can say that every few years in the camera world. It's an interesting time because technology is moving so fast, and now the three big makers are moving along at the same speed. So it is an interesting time. You know, Lee, your comment, look at the debacle Canon's gone through with the R3, talk about sad. And if you're talking about part shortages and things like that, yeah, I agree. Uh, Obviously, maybe no fault of their own. But if you're talking about the price and the capabilities of the camera, yeah, I think that it's hard to believe they didn't know what Nikon was coming out with. It's hard. It'd be hard to believe. Maybe they were so far into actual production by the time they found all of the things out about the Z9 that they just nothing they could do. They had to go ahead and run it to through production and get it out on the street. But from what I seen, it's not a bad camera. I mean, I don't think it's a Z9, but I don't think it was meant to be. I think it just happened that way. So you can bet that they're working hard on the R1. But now the hard part is, can they build an R1 that competes with the Z9, which I'm sure it will, and put it out on the street for the same price as Z9? That's going to be the question. That's going to be interesting to see. They might get away with the same price as the R3, but there were people in the Canon forum over on Canon Rumors, because I go over there and hang out like a fly on the wall all the time. I'm not a member. I just go in there and look at all that's going on. They are a bit more civil than, not a bit, they're quite a bit more civil than the Sony fans. But there were people, I haven't been over there for a while, but there were people talking about they were tempted into the Z9, and they had, there have even been, I'm not going to say a mass of people, but a few people I've seen, whether they do it or not, I don't know, but they say, I gave up my pre-order on the R3 and I'm getting the Z9. Again, as I say all the time, take it for what it's worth, but this is coming out of their rumor forum. So it could be frustration, who knows, but that's how good the Z9 is. You know, whether anybody wants to say it's the best or not, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But it's enough of a shakeup that there are people that are talking about how good it is from Canon and Sony. Just not any of the nuts over there at Sony that walk around with pitchforks and torches.
I'm
Uh,
looking at Lee's comment about uh, someone saying Z9 sensor points, not cross sensors. I don't believe any of the manufacturers have cross sensors on their mirrorless cameras at all. I have not read one thing that indicates that there are cross type sensors on any of the mirrorless camera
yeah,
body.
yeah, yeah. Woody,
So
I saw Matt Granger got two. Yeah, but he's in Asia, so Now I have learned that Nikon doesn't tell every region what they have to do. I mean, there are probably some things that are whatever required. Nikon USA brought this on themselves by saying, if you've ever been or ever thought of being, other than Chuck, an NPS member, you get your camera first. Yes, he did.
Hey,
He
Chuck,
got two
explain
of them.
something to me that is a little confusing. Like if you go on the Nikon Rumors website, they have the Z lens chart. I looked at it a few weeks ago, and they still showed a 24 to 105 coming out.
Yeah, they
And
do.
then if I go, but then I go like today and I look up and do a search on the latest chart, they don't show it.
Yeah.
What do you know about that? You think it looks like it, when the 24 to 120 came out, I think that kind of replaced it. I don't know.
Yeah, and that threw everybody for a loop, especially Peter over on Nikon Rumors, because he just immediately, when he got the rumors, was saying the 105, the 24 to 105 is coming. He didn't say it a lot, but he did talk about it. One of his sources had given him, something about it. And then all of a sudden he changed it and he said, no, it's the 24 to 120. And everybody goes immediately to the roadmap. It's like, no, no, it's not on the roadmap. It's a 105. You must have bad information. So yeah, I don't know. You think Nikon's ever going to stop and say, we had a misprint, or
Is this another marketing problem? I take it, you know.
yeah, or no, we changed our mind. We forgot to tell you. Well, that's not unusual, is it? We forgot to change. We changed our mind about the 15th of December, and we just forgot to tell you guys. So now you can talk a Canon 1DX Mark III mirrorless cameras cost maybe up to $8,500 in some reports. Wow. Mirrorless. So they're sticking with the R1DX Mark III. Or are you talking the 1DX Mark III equivalent mirrorless, the R1 or whatever? 8,500. Well, remember Nikon, we talked about it. Everybody was talking about it over Nikon Rumors. They were all saying, no, I know it's going to be, if it's $6,500, I'll be surprised, but it's going to be 7,000 or 7,500. And I don't know why I felt different about that, but I wasn't caught up in that for some reason. And we got lucky and made a great guess, though. Missed it by 1 penny, Jeff. 1 penny. We missed the price on that camera. We were a penny too high.
I'm in trouble now.
I mean, literally a penny too high. All right. Amazing test guide on YouTube. Low light focus. He shot in darkness and it locked focus on the eye. Exposed properly. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Okay. So now that's a good point, Lee. I saw that too. Can't remember where. I just see so much stuff. I can't. And if I wrote it down, I could probably keep up with it. But anyway, I saw that, and yeah, it was phenomenal. It looked phenomenal. And of course, somebody was saying, well, my Z6 too can do that. No, it can't. I have one.
Well, they've got that crazy starlight mode now, which is like good to minus 8.5 EV. You know,
yeah.
So
but now
you can shoot in the dark, no doubt about it. Focus in the dark.
Yeah. Well, now the question is what kind of dynamic range? Because I understand from what we've heard from some of the people that had it early, and maybe we'll get some of the folks that have it now to tell us what they think about the dynamic range. Well, let me say I don't care. Okay, I don't care. Modern cameras are good enough for me. If it's not good enough for you, then I understand. I understand your concern. I'm not bad mouthing you for being concerned, but I don't care. It's going to be enough for me. Okay. And if Matt Granger, if you're listening and you don't like the dynamic range, just give me a call and I'll take one of those bad boys off your hands. All right. And then I can cancel my order. Photo Me Ike, what's up, buddy? Yeah, you were planning to spend at least 6 yourself. Yeah. It was a surprise to all of us, man. The question is, what do you think? Is the successor to this going to fall into that same price range? I mean, it might go up a little bit, I guess, for inflation or whatever. Or are they going to go back to the old style pricing And is Canon and Sony going to try to hang on to their old style pricing? What's your prediction there, Ike? Curious to know because it's all over the place. A lot of people are talking about it. Of course, Canon fans are all about, no, we don't want to go back. No, we want Nikon's price. Matter of fact, can you give me a rebate on my R3? Ah, Z9 focusing in darkness. Yeah, I know, Lee, but there are. I just brought it up because there are a lot of people talking about already. Because this is a bragging point, honestly, for most people. Some I can't tell enough difference in one stop. Okay, maybe I'm crazy, but it's a bragging point for people. My camera has because you know what, I got caught in it too with Nikon. Back when well, Nikon has the most dynamic range. Yeah, but it can't lock on a subject. That was the retort. Okay, you got me there.
Well, now the new thing is everybody, oh, the Sony A1 and the Canon, they can shoot 30 frames per second raw. The Nikon only does 20. And don't be surprised if that starts getting under Nikon's nerves because the processor they could easily do a firmware update to shoot 30 frames per second raw if they wanted to. And Steve Perry, who, bought an A1, came out and discussed that camera and said, I would shoot 30 frames per second with the A1. I shoot 20 frames a second with the A1 because of the lossy compression and a few other uh, things that change when you shoot at 30. So everybody just has to find something to stir the pot. Sony guys are great at that. Enjoy what you have. Go out there and shoot pictures instead of just talking about it.
Yeah. And somebody said if you blow the exposure that far, or you're pushing it too far in dark low light or whatever, yeah, you're gonna run into issues like that. So it's your responsibility, and I agree with that for the most part. But there may be cases, and here you go. You're gonna need a lot of wildlife shooters in here talking about. In particular, let's just take the new 800 millimeter 6.3. Um, you're gonna be pushing that hard, high ISO and everything else. So how many stops at dynamic range does it have? You know what? It's only as good as most others anyway, and everybody can. I know we've been down this road for years and years and years. Well, you can't push it as far. How far? How much less can you push one camera over the other? Everybody's running into the same problem when you're experiencing those kind of conditions. So you know what? Your photo is not going to look any different than Sony's photo or Canon's photo. And then we'll get the people 400% pixel peeping. Well, I can see some color noise in there. Look, squint and you can see it. All right, you got me. But I think we get crazy about it sometimes. Let's see. I just put up there taxes in Washington 9.5%. It makes it over 6K if you're buying it. Drive 2 hours south of Portland, pay no tax. Yeah, and a lot of people do that, or they're searching for. It used to be until the government got involved and made the states aware, and the states decided if you're buying outside of my state, you're paying my state tax, and that's the way it is in Connecticut. I buy from B&H, New York, baby. And depending where it's sitting, it could be in New Jersey in their warehouse, but I guess it goes to the headquarters. But I get taxed on it by Connecticut. The business is now responsible for uh, taking or charging the tax to the item that you're buying from them, and I guess they remit it to the state you're from that requires that. Just why not? Hey, here's some air. What's that cost me in this state?
Well, being a former Connecticut resident most of my life, they tax everything. Everything.
Yeah. So here's Ike again. Honestly, pricing does make sense because the EVS 3.6 millimeter instead of the 5.6 the Canon has, and see, doesn't do 30 frames per second raw. he can. A higher EVF and 30 frames per second will push it over. Yeah, I hear you, man. You're smiling though when you say this, right, Ike? Yeah. But yeah, those are the things that we typically get into discussions, heated discussions and arguments over in forums. And we're going to go down that path. Well, my dog has less color in him than your dog, meaning your underexposed photos or high ISO photos or whatever. All right, Z9 is dual gain sensor, so higher ISOs aren't a problem. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. But I've seen some comparisons. I don't know how scientific they are, but somebody out there, a couple of people have done it so far, and it appears that the noise is no better in the Z9 than it is in the Z7 and Z6, so or Z7 to Z6 2. And you know what? Again, I'm okay with that. I didn't expect miracles. They found some more. One of the problems with lenses, and everybody's complaining, well, we can have a lens this big, yeah, and it has a characteristic, but it doesn't quite
Well,
gather the
it's a
same amount of light.
compromise. You
Yeah,
get into the 45, 50 megapixel sensors, your pixel size is smaller. You don't get as much light. You're going to have more noise. I mean, if you don't like it, buy the 24 megapixel, buy an R3 or something. It's going to be better in low noise. But, if you want to do large prints, you have to have a larger sensor to be able to get that 300 dpi and get a really, really good print. So I'll sacrifice a little bit of noise for the resolution of the higher sensor myself.
yeah. Uh, I wouldn't talk politics. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's difficult for me to stay away from politics, but I've tried over the last year. My blood pressure's gone down. I'm not as angry because I ignore the news. I know, honestly, the only thing I can do is vote. And there you have it. So I just stay away from it. Let's see. You want to banish noise? Lee's got a recommendation for us here. DxO Photo Labs Prime Noise Reduction. Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I guess I should from time to time, especially back here shooting late evening. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. What was I going to say? Late evening. Yeah, I can rack up some ISO, um, especially on the 402.8 when I put the TC17 on it. Oh, but all right. That's another good topic one night is to get in there and talk about filters and all the other things. I don't mean optical filters. I'm talking about um, I'm sorry, Dixel Labs and Nick, whatever, and all
You
those.
got Topaz
Yeah,
Labs.
yeah. I don't have
Hey,
anything against that.
works pretty good. That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't have anything against it. Um, oh, what do we got going here? Let's see. Images played back. It's beautiful. Let's see. My buddy, he said it's three. I reviewed some images via the EVF, and it was impressive with the quality. Yeah, or I was impressed with the quality. Yeah, I hear you, Ike. I'm not so much. I haven't done a lot through the viewfinder yet, the EVF, but because with the Z6, Z6 two mainly, I've just been playing with video to help my stepson out, as I was saying earlier. So I don't know what I haven't even really looked through the EVF. So I don't know if it's going to be that big a deal for me on the Z9 if it's lower quality. But one thing that everybody did say was it's brighter. So I don't know how many nits it is since we're now talking about an EVF. I guess we talk about nits for how bright. But that was one of the things that people were talking about. So uh, let's see. Mike never shot at 1.2. I did on a Nikkor 85 1.4. Shot wide open headshot. And the depth of field was really as thin as a bug one. Yeah, it can be, Mike. I mean, obviously, you start talking about separation from you, the camera to the subject, is subject to the background, and all that. Um, it can be, and I saw somebody talking. I saw somebody on. Somebody had a blah, 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 video on YouTube, and not. It's pretty recent, talking about is uh, depth of or shallow depth of field and bokeh overdone now, and it may be getting that way. You know, everything changes. You know, likes change, so that could be the case. But you're right. There are some very artistic portraits for that. Nothing for a business or family photo or anything like that. But there are some artistic portraits with that razor thin depth of field, um, and it is different if you don't, you either like it or you don't. You know, your ears are out of focus and your nose is. But they can be pretty creative. Um, I'm not saying I'm doing them, but
At that point, you get one eyebrow in focus and the other one's not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, some would call that creative too. I would if I did made that mistake. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm hoping the brightness does. It's going to thrill me anyway, but I can understand what you're saying, Ike. You know, depending on the which one you're looking at. Don price, yeah, value standpoint and spec standpoint. If I had to pay more, I'd be asking for more. Yeah, I agree with you, Ike, and that's a good way to put it, man. I'm gonna throw that up there. You're absolutely right. I think that the Z9 stacks up real well for pretty much everybody. It's only the people that just they're jealous that have to bring up things that are, yeah, it may be something that you can see if you look at, but it is, but does it affect what you're doing? And if anytime anything affects what you're shooting, doing, or whatever, yeah, I agree. That's something to discuss and complain about or argue about or whatever. But yeah, you're right. For the price point and what it gives us, yeah, I'm extremely happy. Me too, Ike. Me too. And I haven't even shot it yet. Uh,
Well, it's funny talking about the final analysis on the playback menu. I mean, you're not even if you're shooting raw, you're not seeing what you're going to get when you suck it into your software anyway. I mean, you're just seeing a JPEG representation that's using picture control settings if you set it up in the camera. And those picture control settings don't carry over with the raw file when you bring it into Lightroom anyway. There's actually a whole bunch of features, including your high ISO noise reduction, vignette control, a whole bunch of stuff
yeah,
that
I
doesn't come over.
Yeah, I didn't understand that the first time way back when I was first playing with DSLR and understanding RAW and JPEG. I didn't know what it meant, and I looked on the camera and I thought, you know, why doesn't this look blank or flat or whatever? And then I learned that it's only the in camera processing that it eliminates and captures all the data in the image. But it's if you have a portrait profile set on the camera, it doesn't get rid of the portrait profile. You still have that, but you have more bits or more data, and and no processing done by the camera. And then it made sense to me. But at first, I'm thinking, man, I pull the photos into Photoshop, and yeah, there's a difference, but as you're looking at them on the screen, there's a difference, but I like the JPEG better.
The first time I used RAW, I thought my camera was broken, or I got really stupid really fast. It looked so bad. Like you said, it took a while to figure out, creating presets, adjusting things, making a preset, applying it on all the images when I import them in. And, now it's second nature. Everything's fine, happy as can be. But in the beginning, I thought, man, I just had a lobotomy or something, and everything was horrible.
uh, welcome from the UK. Glad to see you here. So we have Nikan. We have somebody like you that's up in the middle of the night. We appreciate it. Hope you had a Merry Christmas.
There was an interesting thing I read on the battery charger for the Z9. If you charge it in camera, the battery will actually charge 20 minutes quicker
In battery, in camera.
in camera. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
Nice
I
tip.
guess the actual battery charger itself, probably because it has all those charging indicators and the circuitry on it, probably sucks some of the juice because it'll say for 4 hours if you hook it up to the charger, and 3 hours and 40 minutes if you do it in camera.
Yeah. That is a good tip. Thanks, Jeff. Can you retrieve profile in Lightroom? Are you talking about the metadata and everything done to the image? Because, yes, I believe you can.
Well, when you're looking at your file in Lightroom, everything you did to that image is going to show up on the left-hand side of the screen. I mean, everything you did.
Well, but I mean,
So
you
it's
can
visible.
set it to go deeper even. It has a default setting of what it shows you, what information, but there's more information that you can look at. Am I correct, guys? Help me out. Jeff, am I correct?
Yeah, you can see it.
How you doing tonight, Briar? Did you have a great Christmas, I hope? Build quality ergonomics, battery life, button layout is the best on the market right now. Yeah, I agree with you, Lee. But again, though, that applies to me. Although, well, never mind, because you can't convince them Sony folks. And I do pick on them a lot. There are some good folks over there. You see a lot of them. There are some influencers that aren't so well, you know, and they're good people. But for the most part, man, that is one rowdy bunch of fans. Uh, to USB-C charging gets the battery charged 20 minutes quicker. Wow. So thanks bringing that up, Jeff and Lee, confirming us here. I need to know that because I'm not reading the manuals. I'm taking it out and shooting. You guys need to hook me up before I get out there.
Well, like I said, I'm really hoping I get an answer on the battery bank,
Oh,
because if you're going to do serious video shooting and you don't want to drain your battery on your camera, if you can hook up the battery bank, just kind of Velcro it to your tripod or whatever, power your camera with that, that would be a great thing. But
yeah.
if I get an answer on that, Chuck, I'll just send you an email and let you know.
Send me a copy of your cheat sheet. You do my homework for me, Jeff.
I won't charge $72 that I just paid for this thing. But
Okay. So, Briar, okay, clarification. Thanks for clarifying. I don't know that you can pull the same processing. I don't think you can't pull it all out. I don't think you can flip a switch in it. Is there a way in Lightroom though that you can put the in camera processing into the raw file? Am I saying that right? In other words, you want all
no,
the data, but with the JPEG look to it. Okay.
no.
I'm gonna. I want to confess. I want to confess to everybody. I am a JPEG shooter. Once in a while, I shoot both JPEG and RAW. Once in a while, I'll grab the RAW file. If I'm seeing banding in a sky or something and color, I might go grab the RAW file. But I'm a JPEG shooter. and I don't see any reason to be anything but a JPEG shooter for what I do. I understand all you pros, you guys, you need to do that because of what you're doing. And especially you, Briar, when you're talking real estate photography, because I think you said you guys are working in HDR now. But I'm a JPEG shooter. I just want to get that out there. I don't want anybody to think that I'm messing up raw files. And I've
Well,
been
a
known.
JPEG, the JPEG in your, if you're saving JPEGs in your camera and all those picture control settings, especially if you're using the Nikon software to edit your photos, all that information will come in. So if you select Vivid and you do that type of stuff in the picture
Ah,
control menu, it will get picked up, I know, with Nikon software,
there you
and
go,
it will look
Briar.
just like what you saw on the back of your camera. I'm not so sure about Lightroom, but the Nikon will.
How about you guys? Have anybody been tempted to pick up the night room? It sounds like you may have already done that, Jeff, but I've been tempted recently to get Nikon's software, at least for conversions initially.
I used it initially back in the day. I mean, way back in the day when I had a D100. Uh, Eventually, I mean, I used Aperture from on the Mac for a while. When Lightroom came out, I kind of went to that. And I know you use ACR, Chuck, I think you said in Photoshop, which basically, from an editing point of view, is exactly the same as Lightroom. I mean, Lightroom just has the cataloging and that type of stuff that's extra. But in terms of your sliders and your adjustments in Lightroom are really a mirror image of what's in your ACR that you use.
Okay. Ah, out of camera JPEG Z9 appear to be outstanding. Yeah, they do from what I've seen. But then again, I like JPEGs. Rarely, not rarely, but more often than not, I'm just I'm gonna work with the JPEG. And I've probably been known to hit the auto button a time or two and then work from there. And sometimes if I don't like what I see immediately on the auto button, then I'll go back to the original and work from there. But sometimes it shows me something I wouldn't necessarily have thought of in the image. Crazy, I know. Then again, I've never been denied the crazy badge. Um, uh,
Well, aren't all us old guys crazy anyway?
yeah. Nikon Studio rocks, Lee says. Yeah, I may have to try it. Hmm. You can find it in Lightroom also, Briar. Uh, all right, all right. Wow, where does the time go when you're having fun? Okay, thanks, Briar. I don't use Lightroom though. Yet another thing I'm weird about. I don't like Lightroom. I guess I know it's hard to believe, but I don't get into all the cataloging. Uh, Maybe there'll come a time when I'm actually doing this for a reason and I have to. Now I prefer to go search through all of my gigabits or terabytes of photos looking for the one I can't find. Yes, keywords would be nice, wouldn't they? I tried typing photo in, didn't help. Editing process is one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, a lot of people actually enjoy I don't mind it, but I'm not gonna. I don't do anything worthy of 20 or 30 layers. Um, I'm. I have to show you guys my photos one of these days or some of them because you're probably thinking, man, what's he talking about? Why is he even here? He doesn't shoot raw. He edits JPEGs with the auto button.
Chuck, I thought you just took a picture, looked on your camera, and then got out. a drawing pad and then sketched it out.
Yeah. Maybe that's why NPS won't let me join. Uh, Shooting Astro. Yeah, that's no lie. That is no lie. I have tried, excuse me, I have tried my hand at that. Forget it. I can get the photo, but I have bounced around in color temperature and Kelvin scale at night. And, that blue looks nice. Oh, that orange I don't like so much. And I don't know how important it is or where you should be. And then on top of that, getting the colors out because I don't see no colors. I'm thinking, man, I see these guys taking these beautiful photos of the night sky, and they have all these beautiful colors in them and everything else. And I'm trying to think, they got a Milky Way that's just fantastic, and mine's blue. It's like I'm shooting it from Mars sometimes with I get all that light pollution orange. Luminar AI. I tried that one time a while back, touch, and I actually kind of liked it, but I didn't stick with it. It was one of the free trial things or whatever, and I didn't stick with it long enough or use it enough to really understand it much. But yeah, it was kind of cool. I like, and again, I like creative, and what it does sometimes is a very creative rendition of your photo. I liked it. I know it does a lot more than that. Yeah, changing skies. Yeah, that too. But evidently, Photoshop has that now, right?
Yeah, they added sky replacement in Photoshop. I haven't tried it yet, but I tend not to change the sky. I deal with what I get.
Yes. Yep. I shoot raw. I shoot raw. I shoot raw. As if that man. Never mind. You just had to do that, didn't you? You just did that to get me going, didn't you? Oh, shooting astros from streetlights reflecting off the clouds. Yeah, I know it's all the light pollution, David, especially where I'm at in one direction. I mean, the other isn't. I saw a video by a guy over in Hong Kong. Hong Kong? Yeah, Hong Kong. It's been, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And he had a tutorial going on talking about how to shoot the night sky or the Milky Way in light pollution. And he was doing it or well, maybe not right in the dead center, but of course it doesn't matter. You probably can't be far enough away from it. And it was interesting. And he made it work somehow. Couldn't tell you how he did it, but it was interesting. And I tried it here in my little, place here in Connecticut, and yeah, it still failed miserably. You don't get your actual colors in the Milky Way. Oh, now here comes the secrets. Nobody told me all this, Mike. Let's see, raw comes into it. Just try to pull the colors to match the Milky NASA shots. It's not that hard. All right, I'm gonna take your word for it, and I'm gonna post it when I do it, and say if you want an explanation, you have to go see Mike. Mike told me to do this. Just want to sell his presets for Lightroom, so raw is essential for him. Yeah, yeah, he does. He does like his presets and his whatever he's got, the uh, quick tip guide or how to use this camera or whatever, that camera, this camera. All right, I've caught up to the last comment. I've jumped ahead. So who did I miss? I missed somebody's comment that. Let's see.
I tell you where you get beautiful sky pictures is if you live out near the desert. I mean, my cousin used to take pictures in New Mexico, and oh my God,
The most
colors
beautiful
look
skies I've ever
phenomenal.
seen, the most beautiful skies, and on a regular basis I've ever seen, was the evening sky over in Afghanistan. I kid you not. For whatever reason, now this was down in Jalalabad, so I've been out some other places that probably weren't as nice, but man, the sky there every night was spectacular. And me without a camera, or being okay to use a camera. See, try shooting night sky when there's a high pressure system in your area. Ah, okay. So I have noticed that in the wintertime it's much better. Maybe that is the high pressure areas coming through a lot of times in the winter. I don't know. No. Yeah, yeah. I obviously don't do that anymore, Lee. But yeah, I spent a total of, well, I couldn't give you a total, but I can tell you it was over 48 months in Afghanistan. Hmm. And there are some beautiful landscapes over there, incredible landscapes over there. Oh, let's see. Okay, you lost me, Mike. You lost me in a bottle. 3 4, I can drive 2 hours. What did I miss? Did I miss another comment somewhere? I mean, I used to do that too a lot of times when I had long drives. But are we talking about the same thing here? All right. Winter and high pressure. Yeah, better combination for night sky. Okay. But not the Milky Way. Oh, that's right. It's not in the right position, is it? See how much I know about this? I know enough to be dangerous. But I followed a guy out in Utah when I was out there working, and he does a lot of night skies and things out there. Now that's a beautiful place, but I can't remember. I know he used the software Pills. It was Pills, I think. I don't even know if it's spelled Pills. I don't know, or Pils. But he often referred to that, and that's how they were choosing their locations and the best night sky or best time at night. Yeah, man, I worked out there for 10 years. No, 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 maybe 8 years. I was back and forth from home here, and I kept saying every time I'd go out there, I'm going to take a day, and I'm going. I mean, we were in Salt Lake City, so it was a little bit of a drive, but not too awfully bad. And I said every time I went out there, I'm going to go down to one of the national parks, and I'm going to enjoy, a late evening and a night of sky photography. And I never did it. They do have a park there. It's at 10,000 feet, I think, and it's one of the darkest places in the states. Not the, but one of them. Idaho for you. So you're up there with Bayou Josh. Let's see. I did entire southern Utah photographic thing when I lived there. Yeah, man. Anybody that hadn't been to Utah, you think, man, it's just a desert. No, no, no. It's an incredible state and a lot of water there, which you wouldn't think, but a lot of lakes and things like that there too. But yeah, man, the national parks are just incredible. Flown over them, but never had any chance to actually go down and visit. He's in Boise. Okay. Boise, Idaho. I mean, just kidding. Just kidding. 90 minutes.
Yeah, Utah has so many national parks. That would be, if you're going to go one place, boy, you could hit an awful lot of places. And there, I mean, it would be fantastic. The Arches National Park, Bryce
Yeah.
Canyon.
Yeah, there's a lot of places I'd like to go, and I'm not getting any younger. So if I'm ever going to do it, it's going to have to be before too long. Maybe before I get or after I get my Z9. Northern Utah is crazy overcrowded, so anything near Salt Lake City, yeah, yeah. I have some friends, compadres I worked with that do live out there, and they're up in one's in Ogden, and the other is all the way up on the border almost. Can't think of the name of the town. I know Ogden's really almost a suburb of Salt Lake City. It seems like. Now they'll argue with you and say it isn't, but it's close. Uh, Yeah, I think I've caught most of these. Uh, man, oh man, oh man, guys, I've had a ball. We're almost up to 2 hours, and you know how I usually am. I'll stay in here until you guys fade away, and I'm sitting there talking to myself. But I think tonight I am going to get out of here at the 2 hour mark. I have certainly enjoyed it, but nobody shared any of their Christmas presents. And that's fine. I'm just kidding. Um, but
I think
we've
they're
got,
all sitting on the boat.
yeah, yeah. Uh, well, Jeff, before we do get out of here, I want to thank you for sending an email and saying, yeah, I'll jump in there, and I appreciate having you here.
No,
Uh,
thanks a lot. Unfortunately, my the video feed isn't working for me from what I can tell on my screen. Um, but I can hear you talk, so that's something.
okay, good, good, good. And we hear you now. It's a little better than it was, but yeah, there's just this like, I don't know, bouncing
Like a
around, it
wave.
seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I just gotta. If I'm gonna talk to you anymore live, I'm gonna have to invest in some headphones or whatever.
yeah, definitely helps. Definitely helps. Excuse me, man. Yeah, he's going to get him one, I think, maybe. See, Christmas was just here, Jeff. You could have said, Mom, I need headphones.
Yeah.
Uh, Charles, hey, thanks for coming by. Yeah, I enjoy this. I hope I'm not boring anybody to death. Just trying to keep it lively. A lot of things to talk about going on with, the Nikon right now, too. So, but there's so many other things we can talk about too. So you guys drive the conversation. Anybody that's been a guest in here with me will tell you that the audience drives the conversation, and I would never try to stick to a topic because you know this is all about what you guys want to talk about, and we keep 90% of it related to photography, videography, and Nikon. So that's a good thing. But I always enjoy having you all in here. And I would say that I will do another live stream Wednesday night, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'll do one Wednesday night. And I should have my 1 to 400 here. And if it arrives early enough Tuesday evening, I may take it out and shoot a few boring things with it on the Z6 II just so I can tell you if you guys are interested. Maybe not so much. I can give you a visual image quality, what I perceive, and maybe I'll try to upload a couple of JPEGs and bring them up so you guys can look at them. But more than anything, I want to see the silent uh, focus on it because yes, I plan to actually use that for some video too. Which that was always a problem with the F mount stuff and DSLRs. The autofocus on it would hunt. Not just that, it was noisy. But anyway, so I'll be doing that and whatever else you guys want me to do, I'll try to do it.
Yeah. You'll have to verify that they did a good job with the focus breathing.
Yep. Uh, what do I got here? See. Okay, Lee, it's pretty simple. Before I go live, I have to send you a link that you click on. It can be via email, via Facebook Messenger, or iMessages, or whatever. As long as we can connect, I can send a link, and you just click on the link, and it carries you right into Restream Studio. As Jeff, he asked me the same thing earlier. And I mean, it's really that simple. The one thing you can't do is watch the show on YouTube at the same time because there is latency and it just runs into all kinds of audio craziness. Now you can have it on in the background and on another computer or something like that, or your phone or an iPad. you can have it on, just the sound muted, because everything you need to see is in the studio itself. So, Jeffrey, what are you looking at right now? You're looking at Restream Studio, correct?
Correct.
And it has a chat window in it, so you see all the chat that goes on.
Saw the
Um,
chats.
yeah,
Like I said, the only issue really with looking at my face, which can be hard to look at sometimes, uh, is frozen on my screen, and the audio is a little bit funky, like reverberations, echoing. Uh, but it is what it is.
yeah. I wanted to do this earlier in the year, but when they had the Black Friday thing and gave the first year subscription to Restream at half off, I couldn't pass it up, because I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it is a lot of fun. Get a lot of people in here talking. So, real simple though. You click the link, and it just you come right into the Restream window. You'll see I have an on and off button in my studio here, or a switch that I flip. You'll come in. You're muted and in black and white, and that's just an indicator that somebody is in the studio ready to go live. I flip the switch, and you're live right here with us. I still have
I
the
mean,
phone.
it connected real quick. It connected real quick, better than Zoom.
Yeah, it's simple. Everybody that's done, I don't know. A few people have been a little leery, like, oh, am I going to know what to do or whatever? And I couldn't tell you because I haven't been on that end. However, somebody did tell me the first time he came in. He said, "Yeah, it's simple. You click the link and you're here." So the only thing you need to
Now,
be reminded of.
your end. Once you subscribe, can you put in artificial background?
Um, what do you mean on?
Like if you
Oh,
wanted to have just a green screen behind you, or a fake background, could you do that?
yeah, yeah.
But
They
you
just
probably
opened
have
up.
to
They just
subscribe.
opened up green screen for Restream. They just opened it up. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to do it from here, but not having a subscription. I don't think it lets you do it.
Yeah. Yep, they just started that. I just got a notification recently saying green screen is now available in Restream. So it's these the two common ones you'll see people using, because I was doing all kinds of research looking for which one I could get and use uh, just just for this, and Zoom wasn't it. I didn't want to use Zoom. This is more of a creative studio, uh, Restream and StreamYard. And StreamYard, a couple of people use that, but there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. Um, I just wound up on this because there was such a good deal. It's not cheap. Now, you can get a free version of this, by the way. You can get the
Okay.
free level for this, but you can only stream in 720p. And I did
Okay.
that. I tried it. I thought, yeah, let's do that. And then I saw afterwards, I saw it after, YouTube that not rendered it, but, it was placed in, well, shoot, whatever it is. I rewatched it and I thought, oh, that is horrendous. And nobody's going to want to watch this. And so I decided I would get the paid version, but it's not cheap. It's $490 a year, but they had it on sale, like I said, half price, and I jumped on it. And I'll find out over the next year whether I want to continue to renew it. So far, I think so. I'm having a good time. It is a bit of an expense, but it is fun with all the people that we get to meet and get in here. So anyway, that is the Restream thing. And, any of you folks, I think one of the things I'd like to do is, if you have a new upcoming budding whatever YouTube channel, and you want to get a little exposure. Now, I can't say it's going to be a lot with people just drifting by and catching my channel, but the amount of people that do click through and do come in here you catch their eye, and there's a little exposure for you. So if you'd like to do that, and anybody, I encourage anybody that comes, if you want to lay out, if you want to send me ahead of time the information about your channel or anything else, Instagram, you name it, I'll put it in the description for the card uh, for the actual stream. So it'll be there for everybody to look at. You can refer and tell people, hey, make sure you check the description for my Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I encourage you to do that. So um, this, I I'm this close to actually having call in people again. I'm still working on for, because I have such a convoluted way of hooking everything up, and I'm sure there's an easier way, but I think I found the fix to this one. So maybe that's going to happen real soon, and I really look forward to you guys being able to call in and talk to the guest or whatever, ask a question, share an opinion or whatever. Uh, so there you
Well,
have it.
what's nice is you're not scared to try new things. I mean, you got a great studio. Uh, you're willing to try everything at least once or twice.
Yeah,
I give you a lot of credit. I mean, you just no fear. You just hook it
yeah. I
up,
think
see what happens.
that's part of the fun. Yeah, failing on
Yeah.
on camera or failing on live. That's the ultimate in fun.
Well,
Oh man.
Vahagan's night doing it became a little overly interesting, if you know what I mean.
Oh man. So yeah, Lee, I was scrolling back here and you said the res is pretty high. That's good because I just found another switch tonight. I was thinking I'm broadcasting this in a 1080, yet there's something wrong with my camera. It doesn't look as good. And I checked everything. Well, it's another flip or switch you flip within Restream for your own feed to also be 1080. So anyway, I keep learning things on it the hard way. I could have spent 6 months trying to figure it out and then go on with that pure polished professional look. But what fun would that be? Uh, yeah, everything I've done in my life, Jeffrey, it's been high adventure, very high adventure. So this is all just fun. Uh,
Well, what's the saying? No risk, no reward, right?
that's right. That's right. What's it saying? Only the I can't remember it now. There's a quote I used to hear quite often in the military. Okay, so yeah, anybody that wants to do that, by all means. Obviously, you need a camera there. Uh, I don't care what you use if you want to get on here, but if you're trying to promote your if you're trying to promote yourself and you're on your cell phone, that's probably not one of the best ways to do it. However, I don't care if that's what you want to do. Uh, I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, and again, if you want to do that, let me know ahead of time. That's why I typically have. What do I have, Chuck? What do you have? No, not that, not that. Yeah, yeah. Right here. Here you go. You can find it on my channel as well, but I used to put it up here. I'd still need to do that every now and then. Yeah, just give me an email. Say you'd like to be on. Tell me when you might want to do it, when you might want to be available. Obviously, Wednesdays and Saturdays are the day to do it for me. And you're more than welcome. We'll set it up. If you'll give me your information, uh, uh, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I don't have WhatsApp on this phone yet, though. I got to do that. All right. Hey, Lee, send me an email. Let's get it started that way. Uh, yeah. Oh, look at you. You just tweaked something there, Mr. Jeffrey.
I don't know. The the conversation's kind of, I'm clicking on a bunch of things. The chat side of the screen kind of
Okay.
disappeared. So I was clicking on some different things. So I did, in doing that, you're not echoing anymore. You sound much better.
Yeah,
So,
you know what? Yeah, Restream is
and
supposed to.
I'm live now. I'm moving. I'm not
Yeah,
frozen.
great.
But so I don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it out over time. I appreciate you letting me come on with you. I enjoy the conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
you're getting some kudos
nice,
now.
nice to talk to a fellow Nikon junkie.
You're just on either a webcam or the laptop or the computer cam, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man, I'd hope this looks okay. It's not going to bode well for the Z6 if it doesn't. That
No, it looks
Z6 and
great.
that 14 to 30 are crap. Oh, wait a minute. My
Oh,
laptop
wait a
camera's
minute, wait!
on.
Don't get the fanboy club excited now to start phoning their friends and making more comments.
Yeah,
Don't give them
exactly.
ammunition. Don't give them any ammunition.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
folks.
when you let us know the build quality when you get that lens, I'm sure you'll be pretty impressed by it.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I'm going to put it up here on a table and with a little rotator thing, put some lights up around it so everybody can see it.
With an illuminated Nikon logo
Yeah,
above
you
it.
know, I've got, yeah, we won't go into all that. I've got lights too, not hot lights, but COB chip on board. I've got those two with the focus.
Uh
Uh, that's what I'll do. I'll put the beam over top of it.
oh.
Let's see.
Well, you have a good night. I think I'm going to hang it up. Check on my wife since she's not feeling well. I'm sure she's wondering where I've been. But look forward to talking to you again. And I get any information on those battery banks and how, if they'll work with the Z9 or Z9, whatever you want to call it, I will let you know.
All righty. Appreciate it, Jeff. And thanks again for dropping in here with us. It's always more fun when it's going back and forth in here, and then we can jump into the audience as well. So again, thanks.
No problem. Have a good night.
You too. You too. And the rest of your Merry Christmas.
Yep, you too.
All right. Bye bye. Ah, Nikon for life tattoo. All right. All right, people. And I honestly do hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. And maybe there's a little left for you tonight or leftovers tomorrow, which are always just as good, actually better. Um, man, yeah, maybe we all see our Z9s next month. I hope so. I hope so. I hope everybody that got one gets it soon enough. But if what we thought was true, that this was going to sell like hotcakes, then I think the reality is there are some that are going to be waiting longer. Excuse me. Excuse me, longer than others. So, all right. Don't thank us. We enjoy everybody being in here. And yes, David, see you next time. See all of you next time. Make sure you drop by. And here's the only thing I ever ask of anybody: subscribers, that's great, but a like makes me feel good. It just puts a smile on my face, and I think, okay, you know, it's something. It's interesting, or some people are having fun or whatever. It just makes me feel good. And if you guys would be so kind as to drop a like whenever you come in or go out or whatever, I'd appreciate it. And I don't need any affiliate links. I don't need any, whatever it is, Patreon and PayPal links and everything else. I do it because it's fun. I want everybody else to be able to participate. So appreciate you being here. Again, Merry Christmas. We'll do this again next Christmas. That'll be fun. We got New Year's coming up, and I don't know, what day is that on? Anybody know? New Year's Eve is on what night? Might not be a good idea to try to do one on New Year's Eve, though. Although there may be other people in here that are just like me. I'm not going out there in it, and I'm not that far from New York City. All right, Lee. Yeah, absolutely. Shoot me an email, and we'll chat this thing out. I've got a couple of other people that are actually ready to come back on that have been on, so we're going to be doing that. And I kind of like having 3 or 4 or more of us in here at the same time. Seems like it's a whole lot more lively. Friday is New Year's Eve, huh? Okay. So you guys tell me if you want. Wednesday night, if you guys would like to, if anybody's bored on New Year's Eve and wants to get into a live stream, we'll do it. If it'd be better on New Year's Day, which is a normal Saturday, just let me know next time we're in. And a comment on this after it drops, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, you know what, Charles, you're absolutely right. It's too many kicks to the head by the mules. I was carting up and down the mountains in Afghanistan, I guess. All right. So that's it. I am going to get out of here now. But I enjoyed it. I had a sinus headache last night that was killing me, but got through that. And today had a good time in here with you guys tonight. Had a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And God bless you. And come back and see us the next time. Appreciate it. Really do. Thank you very much. And let's see if we can shut it down.